Alright YouTube, so let's take a look at the Chromecast audio. And I got this because I wanted to make my home theater receivers, two of them, one in the living room, one in the family room, to make them smarter so I can play audio to them wirelessly. And yeah, and so I went with this. There are other options you could use, obviously, like having a Bluetooth receiver, but we'll talk about that later. But I went with this because I thought it is the best option to go with. And inside the box, what you have is nothing. Well, because I already have it connected, so what you have is the device itself, which looks like a puck, you know, and just have one audio port there, micro USB port, a button to reset and stuff, and an indicator. Also comes with an analog cable, 3.5 millimeter, very short, which I'm not using, and a power adapter and the USB cable itself, which is very long, and yeah, it's actually very nice. And yeah, so and like I said, I won't be using this because my receiver doesn't have this kind of input, and what it does have are RCA inputs, and so I would need, or you would need, a cable something like this where it has a 3.5 millimeter on one end to connect to the Chromecast audio device, and then RCA on the other end to connect to your receiver. So I'll be using this method with one home theater receiver, and then on the other one I'll connect to it digitally using an optical cable. So this one, it has, you know, this optical cable on one end, and it has a 3.5 millimeter on the other end, still optical, and so that you can plug in like that to the device, and then you plug in the other end to your receiver, you know, via a standard optical port. This is the same cable that I would use with my MacBook Pro to connect to my DAC. Yeah, and so I'll use this method with my main home theater receiver in the living room. And yeah, so let's get to it then. Alright, so I have the Chromecast audio devices hooked up to my receivers, and right now we're looking at the one in the family room, which is connected via analog. And it's very easy to set up. You plug it in, right, and then you install, if you don't have it yet, the Google Home app, and yeah, you just press add, you set up device, and then it will look for the device and it will try to connect to it, and it will set the Wi-Fi automatically and everything for that. And once you have it connected, the device itself, you can add it to a room. And I've created a room, or two rooms, one family room, one living room, and if in each of those rooms have one device. So, and then inside, and when you click one of them, you can control the volume for each one. What you also need to do is, what you can also do is change the equalizer for each one if you want to do that. Well, bass and treble only though. But there are also additional options here for the device. And if you're connected using analog, like what I have here in the family room, what you want to do is to set the full dynamic range to enable that. It's off by default, but if you enable that, then and theoretically it should sound better. And the reason why is it disabled by default is that they expect you to connect it to a I guess a cheap speaker, and connected to obviously like a receiver, a pretty decent one. And so yeah, obviously we want full dynamic range. So and so that's how you would set it up. And since we have two of them, we can also create a group. So I created a group called the home group, and in that it has two. Oh wait, maybe in here it has the following devices: the family room speaker and then the living room speaker. So what it does then is you can cast to the group directly, and it will play in both rooms at the same time, so which is pretty neat. And yeah, so obviously you could use the Google Music application, or what I prefer is the Hi-Fi Cast application. And what you need to do then is in your playback devices, you hit refresh, and it'll look for the devices, and then what it would show is like a bunch of stuff. Like you can play obviously on this phone, this device, or the family room speaker, or the living room speaker, or the home group, which I currently have selected. And there's other things in there. You can also see Kodi, a couple of them there, but we want to play on the home group. And so once we select that device, you can add to your queue, and I have stuff in my queue already. Or you can also choose your library or media server. So the media server could be this device, so you read MP3s off your phone, or I have for myself Kodi that I use as a media server, so which you can find in here in the UPnP or DLNA tab. And so I already have it selected there, and then I can browse the media server there, add stuff to the queue, and yeah, we can just place items from the queue. So now playing since it's Christmas, play some Michael Bublé, and yeah, it's playing. So like I said, it's playing to my home group, so it's playing here in the family room, and if we go into the living room, we'll also hear that it's also playing there. Actually, let's play a different song. Alright, so let's go to the living room now then. Alright, let's just pause that for a second. So here, it's actually connected. Now we're in the living room. The device is connected using optical cable, and yeah, and so far it's working great. So as you can hear, it was able to play at the same time in two different places, and you can play again here. And let's go back to the other room. Yeah, so it's still playing, and let me just pause it again. Alright, so yeah, and so far it's been working great. I haven't had any kind of connection issues with the devices, and as you can hear, it was able to play the song in both rooms at the same time, and there's no syncing issues. And sound quality wise, it's been good. Can't really tell the difference between the analog or digital connection, but then again, I haven't really been playing it too loud. I just playing some Christmas songs in the background. So and for that, it's been working great. You know, let's say if you have a party or a Christmas party and you just want some ambient music, and yeah, this is the way to go, I would say. And so yeah, like I said earlier, another option is to use this Bluetooth receiver. Come on, focus. Yeah, so you could use something like this, and connect this to your receiver so that you can play via Bluetooth from your phone or whatever. Obviously, a few downside to that. One being range. Wi-Fi will work pretty much, throughout your entire house. Bluetooth, not so much. Once you leave the room with your phone, the connection will be unusable, to say the least. Not only that, it doesn't have the same capability as being able to play the same song from one device to multiple rooms or speakers. And just being able to use the Chromecast is just so much easier, I would say, especially if you're using your phone for something else and then that just plays in the background. Another option is to just use Kodi, for example. In the service settings, you can enable UPnP and DLNA, and with that you can play to Kodi directly, and that's basically how in earlier what you saw, playback under the playback devices. We can play to the Kodi directly there. So that's another option too. But then again, Chromecast audio, these things are really cheap. I paid $20 for mine during a sale. It's $40 or $45 originally, but yeah, and it obviously is a much smaller device, much more efficient, and yeah, so I highly recommend using the Chromecast audio as a way to make your receiver or stereo amplifier, to make it smarter and to make it great again, I guess you can say. And yeah, and play music to it wirelessly, and I believe is the best way to do so, considering cost, connection, audio quality, and all that. And yeah, so if you have any questions or comments, just leave it down below in the comment section, and yeah, I'll try to answer, and I'll put some links to the cables. And yeah, if you like the video, just let me know, and thanks for watching.